Sunday. Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here, relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gas, but mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Well, they picked my car up Monday. They said I was 3 payments behind. The rods was knocking anyway, so I really didn't mind. I called my chick up Tuesday, and I gave her all my bad news. You know, she gave my ring back Wednesday. Now I got those repossession blues.
Yeah, well, if you've been repossessed, we know how you feel because you get stuff like this. You get sent to Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show, where you can talk about your repossessions, possessions, or demonic obsessions. Just like Chris over here, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me
This
all
show
about it.
makes you feel repossessed, that's for sure.
Heck yeah, reused.
Not just possessed, repossessed.
Repossessed, right. Yeah, man, the rods were knocking anyway. Using a lot of oil.
Okay, what fine established artist were we listening to just now?
What's your favorite? It's one of your other new favorites. That's Hot Rod Raj.
Oh, of course, Hot Rod Raj.
Yeah, man, you're gonna get to know this album really well by the time we're done with it. Don't worry. And then we'll maybe just like the Leave It to Beaver reruns that we watch every day, we'll just start again. I
That's
don't know.
right.
Once we could find some other kind of
Certainly, I'm sure it'll just watching all those reruns will make your brain deflate in a frantic pace.
yeah, that and the coffee really helps though. So, So yeah.
Yes, I'm looking at the album right now, Hot Rod Rally. It's on real_Motormouth Radio on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I could smell it. I could put that. I look at that picture. I could put it to my face. I could smell the mustiness of that album right now.
No doubt. No doubt. No
Totally. I could see it and smell it. What kind of album, what kind of show can actually give you that sort of benefit?
Smell around, yeah.
Don't smell the
Kentucky
seats. Smell the album. Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Movie had nothing on us. So, yeah. So we're back with another week. Of course, the year is winding down.
I know.
Which means our anniversary is coming up in a few weeks.
Still can't remember the day it was. It's been so long. We're that type of radio program. I really do feel where people will say they're still on the air.
Yeah.
What happened? I thought they put a gardening show in there a long time ago.
Right.
What I thought. But
exactly.
we should say we're the new Motormouth Radio, just to think that people think that this show has any sort of has improved in any way possible.
Couldn't hurt.
No.
Certainly couldn't hurt. I'll tell you this, it was kind of funny. I was hoping to have a surprise guest on today.
Oh.
But it didn't happen. My older daughter is up from North Carolina for a visit, a long weekend visit.
Lovely.
So I tried to wrangle her to come in to talk about car repair when you're in another state and you don't have your mechanic there to do it for you, like I used to do.
Well, I've tried car repair in another state, but I ended up falling asleep.
You get arrested too.
Yeah.
Because what happened is, she moved. Now her and her husband, they have to deal with their car repair without me.
Without you, without the untwined knowledge of the illustrious Motormouth Radio host of the program. Yeah.
Yeah, so of course we have, there's phone calls and texts, and I can help them walk them through things, but it's nothing like being there and having your hands on it and actually
Right.
doing it, or
Exactly.
being able to. This is the other thing that people didn't listen to this show understand this.
Wow.
Being able to bring it to somebody else who can do it. I
Yes.
got a guy syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably more key than being able to do it yourself.
Agreed. No, I totally get it. How does your daughter make? Does she make the noise over the phone? Dad, the car is making a noise,
Well,
and actually make the noise. And do you respond with make the noise again?
actually, no, she hasn't had any noise problems per se. It's been
Mm.
really, they've been kind of plagued by battery and evap and emissions codes, which like everybody else, like the rest of us.
Oh,
My
yeah,
wife's car.
pesky little things.
As I was talking about it, I was telling her about the Adams and all. I get into cruise and bang, check engine lights on. I didn't even have to check. I threw the blue driver scanner in it. Yeah, PO 420. It's a cat efficiency code.
Right, because
So,
something plastic in there decided to crack.
well, probably the catalytic converter, but
Oh boy.
we're trying to work our way around that one for you.
Did I tell you I have been literally watching a TikTok video of Auto Parts City in
No,
Gurnee, Illinois.
no, no, no.
Yes. And when I tell you the source of all wisdom, all automotive wisdom with new cars nowadays, everybody should watch this guy.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know his name. He never shows his face. He never says his name. He walks right up to cars that show up at this auto parts, at this salvage yard, that I must tell you must be the cleanest, neatest, most efficient operating business I have ever seen, as far as salvage yards are concerned.
Right. Okay.
And he'll walk up to like a series of cars and evaluate each one of them. And there was one episode where he said he walks up to like a series of cars. One of them is a Cruise,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them is a Corolla,
Uh,
Toyota Corolla. So he says, let's go see how many cars we've crushed. And he'll go into the office and get the camera right on the computer screen, and you'll see within the last 3 months, he crushed like 4 Corollas. And
right.
within the last 3 months, he crushed like 30 Chevy Cruises.
I'd like to give him number 31. I really would.
I'm serious.
You
It's
have
called
talked about
Auto
this
Parts
guy.
City. It's in Gurnee, Illinois.
Okay.
Take a look. He's hysterical. Some of the stuff, the knowledge I have learned has been more than I've learned in this program.
And what platform is that show on?
I've seen it on TikTok. I've seen it on little bits of it on YouTube. I always find him like on my Facebook page. Bang, like he'll come up in my algorithm,
Okay.
so I'll watch him there as well. And it's not long. It's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. He gives you this quick evaluation. He goes through the cars, like the cars that come in that are destined to be junk cars.
Mhm.
And usually everybody's a slob. They leave all kinds of junk all over it. So he goes through to the junk that's in the cars themselves.
I have seen that. I have seen it's probably been a year or so ago, but I do remember seeing, as you describe it, seeing those things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good. I have to check. I'll check. I'll give it
Yeah.
a check. Listen, I'm always looking for new content. So what the heck? I'll give it a look.
Yeah, it's just amazing the knowledge that I've, and mind you, he just observes and explains. Like there's some things that he has said that I've actually noticed. He goes, "Oh, look, another Hyundai Elantra. Oh, look, another Hyundai Santa Fe 2010. It's like we haven't seen those before today."
Well,
Like he'll do stuff like that.
just like in the repair shops, I remember when I got my FJ, I asked a few of the guys I know who have repair shops, how often have you seen these vehicles in for repair?
Right.
And they all said, what? No, like never. And I'm like, good. That's good, because if I heard, oh, every week we get another one coming in, then
Right.
what are the common? They see those commonalities. So,
Now think about those guys that you talk to with your car in the shop. You really think they're going to tell you the truth? I would say no, but I must tell you in this particular instance that you're talking about FJs, I've never seen an FJ on this guy's program. I've been watching him for a year now.
Well,
Never saw an FJ show up.
I mean, you
So,
know, guys, you
it's
know the
good.
same guys that I know who I've spoke to in the shops that are local around here. You've known them for years as well.
Right.
So
And they've lied to me too.
They're
No,
giving me
I'm
straight,
only kidding.
yeah, they're giving me the straight dope. They're not giving me
Oh,
any
I'm sure they
plan.
will.
So
Yeah, no good.
and
I'm sure they will.
and then I found out, when Mike Jr. was at the shop and I was looking for one of those, I hadn't had one yet. we'd always point them out when they passed the shop. Look at another FJ. Look at another FJ. Look this around, a blue one. So we found after a couple of years of doing this, we realized something.
Wow.
After the weather got cold, like around now, you
Mhm.
didn't see them anymore. And then in the spring, boom, they were out again. And I said, people are putting those things in the garage and they're storing them. They're not driving them in the winter. And it is a very capable. It's a four-wheel drive.
Sure.
You know, it's got a high incline, high decline angle. I mean, it's a high, certainly, you know, that's why I wanted it. Certainly
It's
winter
built for
ready.
winter weather. Yeah.
People were putting them away. We'd see them back out in the spring again. And I said, now they're treating these things like collector cars.
And they are.
And
That's the
I
thing.
said,
They will be.
that's even better because now your chance of finding a nice one is better. And, you know, you're not going to find a bunch of wrecks out there. So, and then if you do find wrecks, because I do have a saved search on eBay that I get for FJ parts, people ask incredible amounts of money for the stupidest little pieces. It's
I'm
ridiculous.
sure.
So,
No, you're right. I have seen them up here for sale.
Yeah.
They don't stay for sale for long.
right.
There was a silver one recently about, I'd say was during the summer, and he had it out on his lawn. I went down that street, I think on a regular basis. It was gone within 48 hours.
Not surprising.
Gone.
And it's not like people are pricing them cheap either. The
No.
prices have risen. You know, they've actually increased in price.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's, you know, that's
No, that was a smart move. The FJ was a smart move. The Cruise,
well, you
eh,
know, we got to be too. My sister-in-law had it, and she was getting toward the end of her lease on it,
right.
and she could have bought it out, and she was looking for an SUV. She didn't like the way the Cruise shifted. It's got, you know, it's got that, you know, it's got a CVT in it, so it does. You got to get used
Oh,
to it. So
it really doesn't shift. It just,
Yeah.
it increases
yeah,
speed and moves on that cone. So you really don't hear a shift per se, because the Compass had a CVT in it, and I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. I
well,
don't know
she
why.
didn't, she didn't like it, so she
Okay.
gave us the option. She goes, "Listen, you can buy it out for the price I can buy it out for, which was like the wholesale price at the time, or
Right.
I'll try." And we discussed. We said, "Okay, we could use another car. It was a newer car. We could use one." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." So we got
Mhm.
it for a very good price. We got it at the wholesale price.
Right.
So which is now I've been paying dearly for repairs since. So, but
Well, I've always said any car that has given me trouble, I always said it gave me information. It gave me fodder to report to you here on this program. So that was
and
always the good news. That was always the good
Yeah,
news.
and I will say it's not that I love driving the car. We drove it last night. It's a great driving car, great
Oh, I'm
handling
sure.
car, very comfortable. The problem I have is the way GM and Chevy in particular dealt with all the emission stuff, and everything's plastic. The cooling system and emission stuff is all plastic, and that's where all the failures, the majority of my failures have been
Yes.
in you know, in those systems.
Well, I
So
remember the water elbows in the Impala. When they went on my car, they were replaced with metal ones. The metal
okay,
the replacements were metal.
I'm going to replace this with the phone. And I'm going to
Okay.
say hi, Corley. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Ray.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hey, you cut me off the Sunday before Thanksgiving, where I went, and to every one on the call, happy Thanksgiving, but it is what it is.
Sometimes we're too fast on the buttons, John. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you didn't hang up on me. I could hear you in the background.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Oh, technology bit you in the butt, huh?
I don't know. Ray and buttons.
Yeah, I don't know. I plead the fifth.
That's why they have hooks on bras.
Yeah, to really let teenagers have an easy time of it.
Oh,
How do you do this thing?
John, that's the best analysis. I think I'm going to use that for everything today.
Yeah.
No, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. And, Ray, I was listening to what you were saying about, polling repair shops. The only app that I'm familiar with, or it's a website, is the Identifix. Oh, my God.
Right.
God bless the, people that subscribe and the shops that, put in the actual fixes to it, because
Right.
that's got to be so mutually beneficial, and getting into the weeds on stuff that you may or may not find on YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's all professional based, and YouTube identifies as a subscription site. But regular, you don't have to be in a shop. You can buy a subscription for your own car for a month, or longer, and then get the repair done you needed. Download and print the stuff out if you like. I don't know if not everybody knows that it is available to the public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did know that, but if you're in the weeds on a problem, it's probably well spent money if you didn't find the solution on YouTube for free.
Right. Now, some scanners, in fact, two of the latest scanners I have repair solutions as part of it. So they'll actually, I just use the Blue Driver to scan the cruiser. When I open that app on my phone, it'll show me what the codes are and what the most common fixes are for that code.
Yeah.
That's great.
So again, you need to
lot
be
of
able to
value in
weed
that.
through it. You need to be able to know, what's really like, yeah, sure, changing the engine fixed it, but you know what? I know that's not what we're going to do. So you do have to have a little bit of background to go further. But yeah, the repair
if you're
solution.
a hammer and screwdriver guy, probably not the site for you. But
No. And a lot of the top class scanners, I know everybody raves about the Matco scanners, Brian especially, of course, he sells them. And they do have a great interface with repair, with databases. So yeah, it's good. And you can buy, again, a monthly subscription, which is,
yeah.
fine.
I don't know if there's a competitor. Again, I'm going with familiarity on Identifix, but I'm sure there's probably a competitor. If there isn't, somebody should do it.
Yeah, there are. Now I just blanked out. All Data, that's another big one.
Right.
That's been around for years. And there's another player. But like I said, the scanners now started taking over by putting that information right in the technician's hand instead of having to go in and call the service or go on a computer and go online. It's right in the scanner now, which is that's at the point of repair. So
Yeah, and wait
Right.
to the next version of scanners when they put AI into it, and it comes back and tells you, yeah, the most likely cause of this is.
right, yeah. Well, it'll happen, I'm sure.
It can happen now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It can. But I forgot about All Data. They used to have all of the CDs with you had to plug in the CD for whatever range of vehicles, Chevy. But that was a good product back in the day.
Yeah, and it still is. They've updated it. So yeah, that's what the shops use.
Which is why they're still around.
Right, that's what the shops use. And there's been some backdoor trading and selling, and the scanner companies are involved with these companies to a degree. So there's a lot of it. I don't remember all the ins and outs, and so I'm not going to try to tell you what it is. But let's just say there's been a lot of backdoor and background work on this stuff. So yeah. Oh, very good. That's good, Chuck.
That's all good stuff. I got one for the suggestion box for you guys.
What do you got?
I feel like such an idiot. Last Sunday I was calling in and I'm like, no answer. And I'm like, where the hell are they?
Well, no, we may have actually had. I remember last week a couple times we had a couple of calls in queue. We were talking with somebody on the air, and then the other calls that are coming in, well, they're not getting in because we're on with somebody. So that could very easily be what happened, John.
I didn't know that you were live last Sunday because it's hard to tell. And I dialed in and I went, my old and I go, they did say that they were going to some event, and it was going to be a rebroadcast.
That was
I bang my head on the workbench and go,
All right. Well, that was a couple of weeks ago. So I'll let you know what's going on now. I'll give you the update for everybody. Next week, we're going to have Carl Anthony in and do a year in review of what was up on Automoblog. Then the 29th, Chris is not going to be in.
No,
So
may not be. Who knows?
I'll be interviewing for guest hosts on that day. And
John, you may be one of them, so you may be on that short list.
Right, and in the beginning of January, we'll be celebrating our New Year anniversary for the show. So that's what's coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Nothing else crazy. So,
Right. We're not setting ourselves on fire, and no one is performing any dance moves or. Yeah. No.
all right, guys. Ray, you can actually get away with a top-down drive today.
Sure. No, I think you could. You're right.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's kind of nice out there.
Yep.
I'm just glad I tucked the vet back into storage before that dusting we got. I went up, and timing is everything. It was last Wednesday, so Tuesday afternoon I said to the missus, yeah, I'm driving over to the storage. Come pick me up.
Yeah. No, and you know what? We're going to get into, I'll tell you about a story about a Cobra. I got to work on that Cobra again this week. So we're going to talk about a topless car. So, all right, John, thanks for the info. Thanks for the call.
Have a great day, guys. Always good to listen.
All right. So look.
All right, bye.
Thanks,
right.
John.
So parts, I know we're always talking about parts. I'm always talking about parts and the problem with parts and the wrong parts that we get and this and that. So this week we had agreed, we got the power steering all fixed. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This happened before. We were doing some filming for the Mustang, and we did the conversion to the Borgson power steering on the '66 Mustang. So we converted the box and now in aftermarket pump.
And now it steers.
Well, not yet.
Oh,
well,
boy.
I mean, now it does, but to the point of the story, it didn't.
Oh, all right. I'm interested.
So the owner / filmographer comes to film us, and what you filmed, I put the belt on, I adjusted it, topped off the power steering. He said, now the thing to do is we lift the car just so the wheels are off the ground, start it, and now you turn the wheel lock to lock slowly just to let all the components move and let air escape, let it kind of bleed. The pump will bleed itself.
Let fluid run through the system efficiently. Got it.
And it do its thing.
Right, sure.
So
without
that's
leaks.
what I did. I raised the wheels. Mike and the other fellow are in front of the car filming. I start the car. I go back. I had to get in the car because I had to get a little gas, and it was idling for 30 seconds or so. And then I go and I grabbed the wheel and I turned it a little bit, and the wheel jerked out of my hand and started going.
No way.
I mean, I couldn't have grabbed it if I wanted to.
I was going to ask you to do it again,
but you did it better. On?
You did the sound better the second time. I love it.
Shut the car off.
Right.
And then we looked, everything was, well, obviously we checked for no leaks. Everything was in place. Like, what happened?
What happened?
I'm like, that wasn't in the manual.
Right.
So we said, okay, let's see it again. Maybe it was just an anomaly, which can happen anytime you're driving this car, apparently.
Wow.
And I was very cognizant to not reach through the steering wheel to get the key because I was outside the car like I would normally do.
Right. But it will take your arm off the way it sounded.
So I got in the car again, started it. And then as soon as I touched that wheel, it went haywire again. I said, okay, something's wrong. Get Borgson on the phone.
Right.
So the car owner gets them on the phone. He hands it to me. And I says, what? What do you want? So I told him what we did. I said, listen, new installation. This is what we're doing, bleeding it. This is what happened. He goes, all right. He says, you got the hoses reversed. I'm like, the hoses reversed. Now, I had just done the power steering pump in my car.
That's frightening.
The day before Thanksgiving. Okay. And I know you can't always compare apples to oranges, but on all the GM boxes, the pressure line is usually the higher one up on the box, and it's a bigger fitting.
Yes.
The return line is usually the lower one, and it's a smaller.
It's a smaller fitting. Right.
So I said, wait a minute. I said, didn't this have two different size, fittings? He goes, no, they're the same. I'm like, gee, I installed it. You think I would know, I said, but the pressure line is up high. Well, he says, trust me, go reverse the lines, and if you have a problem, call me back. So we did it. It was no easy feat. It was a pain in the ass. And yeah, he was right. They were both the same size.
Wow.
I never noticed. I was just doing the job. But I also know this because I did look. Nothing was labeled. The box wasn't labeled. The hoses weren't labeled. And in the instructions, nowhere did they say, put this hose in this spot. So
wow.
That's
quite fugazi, if you ask me.
That's a mistake on their part. So as soon as we reversed it and crossed our fingers and started the car steered fine. So that is fixed.
Oh my gosh.
So, but what a few minutes
of terror.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah. So that was
really
cool.
incredible.
And there is video of it. I don't have it in my possession, but we'll get it one of these days. We'll put it up. So that happened. So now we agreed, okay, this car's just about ready to go home to hit the bricks and get out of here. So
Right.
what do we do next? And we did take it out. The owner and I did take it out for a danger drive. But
Ooh, how was that?
it's kind of funny because he picked up on the terminology and asked a while ago like what that meant, and I explained it fully.
Danger drive.
But he started calling it a death drive.
No, no, no.
So I said, "Oh, no, 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 no. Hopefully it's not a death
No,
drive.
that's a totally different drive.
It's just
You don't
right.
come back from that one.
That happens after it's just a danger drive. I said, so that's what we're doing. So as we were ready to go out, now we lost some light. I said, we're losing light. I said, and speaking of light, I don't know if the lights in this car work. You know, I never looked at the electrical. So
Oh my
I know we got
gosh.
taillights, so let's get out of here quick. So of course we're driving with no headlights. And at one point, I guess we hit a little bit of a dip in the road and boom, the lights came on. I said, okay,
Remarkable.
we have a bad connection. I said,
Somewhere.
that should be easy to find. So
Yeah, exactly. Got a couple of weeks.
we get back to the shop, pull it back in, and I start checking. You know, one headlight looked blown, so I figured we'll leave that one alone. I went to the one that was good,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't come on. So we're banging it, hitting it, nothing would happen. Playing with the switch, nothing. I actually pulled the light out and put a test light in the socket.
Right.
So it's a 3-position socket, 3-pole sockets. It's a single light.
Sure.
Black is ground, green is low beam, red is high. I had nothing on the high or low terminal. Interesting. And I did have a good strong ground, which is very interesting. You usually don't get it on a Mustang.
Right.
So I started doing a little more diagnostics. I said, you know what? All right. Mike says, let me order some new bulbs because this other one is shot. Let's wrap for the night. Good. So he also he's going to order in a headlight switch too. I said, you know, good,
Oh.
here, get that. So with that, Mike thought ahead of me and he ordered the dimmer switch, which I'm glad he did because it's mounted on the floor.
Yeah, foot mounted. Yes.
So all I had to do to finish the car was I put a set of hoses on it, radiator hoses. I extend the return line for the power steering. We agreed that we should make it a little longer to fit right, and now it came out aces. And get the lights working, which like, oh God, that could be another month. You know,
Sure.
so I was working out the other day, got the headlight switch out of the car, and then noticed that the new switch was different than the old switch.
Why am I not surprised?
Why wasn't I surprised? In that the old switch had like a bracket on it, a nose bracket. You've seen this. Some GM switches have it too, to kind of give it the right spacing behind the dash.
Yes.
And the new switch didn't. So I said, okay. So I take the high beam switch out, which was frozen closed. The thing wouldn't even switch. That's probably where the problem is.
I was going to say that sounds like a definite symptom, a problem. I
And
can't
then
think of the word.
Then I noticed
Suspect.
right,
That's what I was thinking about.
absolutely. But then I noticed that switch, it's got 3 terminals on it, just like the
Mhm.
headlight. And
Sure.
and they were 3 horizontal terminals, 1 on top and 2 on the bottom. Well, the new
Okay.
switch had 1 horizontal on top and 2 verticals on the side.
Oh, for crying out
I
loud.
said, all right. So I called Mike and I told him, all right, listen, I can't go any further with this. The parts are not going to work. I said,
You
but
can grab a pair of adjustable pliers and get onto the prong and twist it.
nah, it wouldn't have worked. So I said, you know what? I'll take these back to the parts store, who I think should be unnamed. And I'll go back there and I'll see if I can straighten this out. Hopefully, and if not, I don't know. We're gonna have to go to one of the repro places. So literally, the guy pulls it up on the computer screen, the same one I had problems with the tie rod ends and all the other stuff, and he shows me the switch. He goes, "Ah, this is the switch." I'm like, "Well, look, I'm showing you this is the switch."
This is the switch.
And he scrolls, and there was a second choice, and the
Really?
second choice had the nose. I said, "That's the one I need." And it was one
Mhm.
part number off. Okay, let's go to the dimmer switch. Same thing. There were 2 of them. They made like a mid-year change, I guess, in '66
Probably.
or
Yeah.
65. I said, okay, that's the one I need. So they were delivered yesterday to the shop. I haven't gotten back to it. So
Mhm.
hopefully that's all I got to do. Get those in, and hopefully the lights will work. And I want to know how many other guys have taken off a light bezel, because I took the 2 off in the front, and I've had the 2 off in the rear already to fix the lights.
All right.
And how many other people have found wood screws holding light bezels in?
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. Because you know what? On a light bezel, it's a short screw, but it has a pretty aggressive thread on it. to grab the sheet metal.
Yes.
When people lose those, I think the next best screw to get is a wood screw. It's got to be, because everything I've seen these for years in cars. Wood screw.
Yeah, the screw you're talking about is exactly that. It's a short screw. It has a wide head, thick head, and it has thick teeth on it. But
Just
it's
like a wood screw.
right, but it's short, right? So if you cut like a wood screw, it probably has a similar property
I'll get a
that
real
you're
short
looking
one.
for. And yeah, the bounce coefficient on those screws, they
Oh, yeah.
disappear into thin air once they hit the ground.
Yeah, without doubt.
So I totally get it. All you have to do is just move your foot and they're gone.
Yes. Yes.
It's completely gone.
Yeah.
So I get it.
So
I-
what else you're going to get is the bottom of the hour. So let me get the book out. Let me get my read ready so I can do this correctly as per station guidelines.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Keith from KG Garage says that
yeah.
I've turned him on to that to Auto Parts City at Gurney, Illinois. He says it's very entertaining.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Keith. Yeah. Keith runs his own auto parts city down there in Florida. I know.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. Thank you for
Yeah.
for hosting or helping me push my sage advice
And
that I can't speak right now for some
since
reason.
Keith is the only guy who actually comments on the YouTube videos. We always thank him for that as well. Thank you, Keith.
Mhm.
We got to get him on. He's got to come on the show one time. I got to tell. We'll tell everybody, Keith included, since he knows how to use the stream, which is what he's listening to us on, that you can listen to Lithuanian Landslide Mondays at 9 p.m. on this station or this stream.
Oh, I'm there.
Right? The host, Mark from Floral Park.
Come on.
Mark from Floral Park.
He's not Mark from New Hyde Park. He's Mark from
No,
Floral
that's his
Park?
cousin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mark answers the bell and spins anything and everything Lithuanian.
Son of a gun. All three songs.
From the past and present, and from both sides of the Atlantic, ranging from jazz and classical to rock, jazz, and pop, with announcements and more geared to the Lithuanian community. So that's good. They're dealing with their own community. That's fine. That's great.
I like it. Yeah,
like it too.
exactly.
And as John had said, I will look out the WHPC weather window and see.
What?
It's not bad.
Nah, I could see clear down the basement here, right to the window, so it's clear here too.
We're not super blue out there, but it was nice coming in. The temperature's a little warmer. Our WHPC weather forecast is powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. And today, mostly sunny, high of 51, where we were just in the 30s the other day.
I know.
Clear skies tonight with a low of 39. Tomorrow's going to be 50. There's a little rain coming in the middle of the week. So I have to make an airport run. I got to take my daughter back to the airport on Tuesday morning. So hopefully it will be nice then. It's supposed to rain tomorrow night too, I think.
It is. Well, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on this end too.
And then the only other thing people crave at the bottom of the hour, besides a White Castle slider, is the honor group of the hour. Do we have one?
And speaking of weather, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week. If you pride yourself on providing excellent maintenance for your car, but can't seem to keep your windshield wipers from chattering across the glass, do you go through the motions of keeping the windshield clean with your favorite blue glass cleaner and run a damp paper towel across the rubber wiper blades, wiping that dirt off the edge with that feeling of satisfaction? But the silly things keep chattering as they sweep across the glass, even after replacing the blades several times? Or are you anything like me and completely forget about the noisy windshield wipers until the next morning drizzle, and then you get aggravated all over again?
Yeah.
So if you consider yourself a master mechanic who can fix anything but can't seem to get rid of the chatter from your windshield wipers, then you are part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week.
Nice.
Happy drizzle.
I try to be vigilant with the wipers and the other thing that if I might add to that is not only the blue fluid, which is great. Of course, I add Scope or generic brand mouthwash to mine because I get that minty, nice smell. I love that.
Yes.
Cool. Clean the wiper blades every now and again.
Right.
You know, they have little alcohol pads you could buy, or you could take a little alcohol on anything and wipe it. You could even use brake clean if you have it. You know, it's whatever you got. But the wiper blades really do. They degrade, and you'll be surprised when you wipe them with a paper towel or a tissue. It's going to come out black.
It comes out black. Yeah, real black. And
Yeah.
you're like, what the? Sure.
Yeah. So clean the wiper blades as well, and that'll help decrease chatter and clean the window better. So With that, we'll take our break. We'll be back in just a scant few minutes with more of this exciting radio show we call Motormouth Radio with Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. And I'm going to talk about the Cobra.
Ooh.
Cobretti. Yes, I had a little instance with that car yesterday, and I want to put it out to the listeners to maybe help with some because I went out to my brain trust yesterday, and we got a lot of head scratching. But so I'll throw that out when we come back. Let's get up, play with our puppets on 90.3 WHPC.
My name is Carl Anthony with Automoblog and AutoVision News, and you're listening to Ray and Chris on Motormouth Radio, WHPC 90.3 FM.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar Lifetime Nationwide Warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com. Yes, we are Jive Talking on 90.3 WHPC, and that is Chris Switzer on cowbell, by the way. Don't let yourselves be fooled. Live read, and he plays cowbell, too, so this man is a talent.
Not at the same time.
Boy, you never said that in 12 years of doing the show on me.
No, but I have said this. 516-572-7440. Pick up the phone. Call us, for crying out loud.
That is true.
Come on. Come on.
Yes.
Standing here talking to Ray.
I know.
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
Yeah, you might. I don't know if you might have learned something off of that break. 12 years. That used to be a current spot.
Wow.
And I didn't realize it was like, we're doing this for 12 years. Now it's going to be 23 years in a few weeks.
The word I was looking for with the advice was endorse. This is Keith is endorsing my sage advice. That was the word I was looking for.
That's good. Good word.
I'll come up with it sooner or later. But
I tell you, Keith is he's a bit of a phenom and a talent in his own right. He knows his stuff. He plays with it, breaks it. He's
but what about the cars?
He plays with cars too. He's got it going on, but he's kind of nice and low key about it. So it's you gotta make sure you listen to the right thing. But yeah, Keith's a great guy. Have a lot of fun with him on Thursday nights on Playing Traffic, which for all the Playing Traffic fans, I'm not going to be there next Thursday. I forgot to tell him this last week.
What?
Yeah. Well, I have that meeting in Corona that I have to go to.
Oh, you got to talk to some people. People have to talk to you.
Right, and
you got to get together. You got to, rub bellies.
It's a dinner meeting, so invariably I'm not going to be home in time. So I'll be missing it. So I have to let Lewis know. So so I'm going to put this out there for everybody. And,
yes, I'm interested. I'm all ears.
Okay, so the car in question was a Cobra reproduction.
Cool.
Done by
there you go, right there. We have a litany of problems at that point.
But built by HRE Motorsports, which is one of the top Cobra conspirators in the country. I mean, these guys are top shelf.
Right.
And the guy that has this car, same guy that has the Roadrunner that I worked on over the summer, top shelf. He only deals top shelf. Everything about it, top shelf. In fact, the car had that Holly, the Street Avenger on it, top shelf. Good stuff. So, and the car is flawless. I mean, you see the quality of the build. It impressed me not only because of the components used, but the build quality, the layout, the way things are placed. Stellar. You
Okay.
expect nothing less. And I don't, God knows, I don't know what he paid for the car, but I know he paid for everything he got.
I'm sure.
So he called me. My job was to rebuild the carburetor because there was an issue with it. I said, okay. So I picked it up, rebuilt it, only found that the rear bowl, I had posted these pictures. The
Yeah.
front bowl and metering block and all were pristine, like they were brand new. But the rear had some little debris in it. And he doesn't use ethanol gas. He goes to a station and buys 25 gallons of non-ethanol gas at a time and puts
Wow.
the Roadrunner in the Cobra. So it's
Holy
not
smokes.
ethanol deposit.
Okay.
Unless he said it maybe from the previous owner. I don't know. I didn't ask him how long he's owned the car.
But a little micro amount of debris is going to affect the performance of the fine, upstanding Holly carburetor. I say
Well,
that with a certain amount of sarcasm.
Usually, no, it won't. And
Mhm.
and I found out that that's probably not what it was. That probably wasn't what the problem was.
Oh boy.
So it wasn't the car. Well, yes and no. So okay, I bring it over. We reinstall the carburetor, and now you pull this car off. I'm looking right into the intake, and usually a Holly equipped car, the intake is going to be black from soot, and because Hollies typically run rich.
Yeah, you're right. I know. I'm learning that all too well now with
And
my
like I
car.
said, one backfire, power valve's gone. Now you're dumping fuel, so you're done.
Mhm.
And they're not jetted right, and so on and so on. Well, this carburetor, when I took it apart, I happened to notice that the accelerator pump being bad, the jets were kind of on the lean side, which I thought was a little interesting in a Cobra
Wow.
because they usually built. But then again, that's the thing. People think more and bigger is better. No, a lot of times you'll make more power being a little to the lean side than on the rich side. The rich side is safer because you won't burn a valve
Right.
than a dead lean condition. But on the leaner side, you will make more power. So I said, okay, they knew what they were doing when they either built or selected this carburetor.
Mhm.
So I put it on. And I said, okay, we connect the connections. It should literally fire. Throws the electric fuel pump on. You listen to it. Bzzz, did one of those.
How did it go again?
It was a bzzz.
Got it.
And then he pumps the gas, and I see the fuel squirting in through the nozzles, the annular boosters into the carb. I said, okay, we got fuel.
Everything sounds good to me so far.
No leaks. Fire.
No runs, no errors.
Right.
I'm loving it.
So he starts cranking it. And nothing. And I tried again. And he's pumping the gas. Tried again. And now I smell the gas. I said, oh, stop.
Right.
So we don't have ignition. We don't have spark. He says, huh? I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah, huh? I said, yeah. I said, do you have a kill switch or something that we don't know? He goes, no, I got everything where it should be. Everything is, and activated.
Okay.
I said, well, we don't have fire in the hole. I said, I know it because I'm smelling the gas. I said, give me a
Sure.
spark plug. Please hand me a spark plug socket. I pulled out one of the first plugs, and it was black, but that was probably from soot from previously with the way it was running.
Right.
But important,
Wasn't wet.
it was wet.
Oh.
And I said to him, the soot doesn't bother me. That's just carbon. It's soft carbon. The
Right.
wet bothers me because that's unburned gas. That's wet
Yes.
fuel. I said, we do not have spark.
Correct.
And he says, what could be wrong? I'm like, anything?
Anything?
Looking at the bill, if you're looking at a piece of crap at a cruise night where there's like 28 connections on the battery and, the fuel line is held on with a Band-Aid, you can say, God, you name it. Well, this
Right.
car is like just the opposite. Like, anything can be bad, but it's going to be a sneaky one if it is.
Sure.
So
Coil distributor.
I said, so
Like
let's
that.
do this. Let me put the plug in the boot. Let me hold it about half-inch away from the engine block, and you crank it. And on my cue, he cranks it, and the car cranked 2 times. It was like whip, whip, and boom. I saw a spark that was orange, blue, green, had every color of a rainbow, and I heard the exhaust popping. I said, stop. I said, now we have ignition. And he says, yeah, that was kind of weird. And I said, when I put this plug in and cap it, I said, guaranteed this car now is going to fire. It's going to at least do something and belch. And sure enough, it fired right up and ran.
So
Question is,
why did it not run?
Well, I called Brian. Actually, I spoke to our friend Ray, the fixer, because Ray also knows this guy. And he says, yeah. He goes, well, the fella now started telling me, he goes, yeah, that's what it was doing kind of before. Like it didn't want to start. It had a long crack. It had a long start. I'm like, oh, before I didn't know any of this. These are all the things that were happening before he gave me the carburetor.
Right.
I said, okay, well, I think you have another problem I said, but now the question is, what is it? So obviously I did some choke adjustments, and he started and shut the car off 8 times, and it just, I mean, on the first kick, it was just, the first half rotation, the motor just goes boom, it lights. I'm like, this thing lights nice. Everything is set right. I said, but to not have spark, I said, and I actually said to him, I said, it was almost like there's a bad ground, you know? And then when I do ground the spark plug, and what happens? The motor lights. So we were talking about what could be going on. I said, well, you know, you have a MSD distributor, which has an electronic trigger in it. It's literally an electronic set of points is all it is.
Oh, wow.
That's all it is. You know, a GM module, same thing, electronic set of points. That's all they are. That's all it is. So they don't wear like mechanical points because it's not mechanical, right?
Right.
And you have the coil, which supplies the juice to fire the plugs. Now you have an MSD control box, which actually it's a multi-spark. It sends a multiple spark out. I said the problem could be pretty much anywhere. We have to, if this persists, we need to find out how to isolate it. And after I talked to Ray, I called Brian and I asked him, because Brian knows a lot of, you know, good diagnostic stuff too. And we both, and he says, yeah, it's kind of weird that you gave it that forced ground and then the car fired. I said, I said, it was kind of ironic that I said bad ground, but I'm thinking maybe an engine ground. I said, I know the car has an aluminum intake and aluminum heads. So maybe the engine ground is either missing or not good enough, or it was compromised, so that the ignition is not grounding and causing a spark. I said, I don't know. So I'm going to have to look into that. So I told the owner, I said he was going to start it again, let it cool down, and start it again last night to see what happens. And he was going to start it this morning cold. I said, maybe like Pat's car, his problem was caused by vibration and a heat issue that took out a control box.
That 67 Corvette that had the fuel injected, the Holly Stinger, whatever it was, fuel injection on it.
And Terminator. I wonder if the cold could do the same thing.
This sounds like one of those problems that's indicative of a car that is not used every day.
Well, okay, you're right, and you can easily say that. But then again, if there's a failure problem with the component, you know, they arise when they arise. It could happen if you're driving it every day. So we really don't know that for sure. I could see a carburetor gumming up because of non-use, but electronics, they sit on shelves for years in the warehouse before they get used, and they work fine.
No, you're right about that. And it's, I'm always thinking of just a shoddy solder joint can ruin your day. A cold solder joint that has microscopic cracks within the connection can really make a problem bigger.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
just thinking those things.
No, absolutely. And that could be in that MSD control box. It could be a problem. You know, even in any of the electronics, that can be a problem. You have soldered components. I mean, a lot of times they're wave soldered, they're done, you know, robotically, but still, sure, any of that can fail. I mean, a connection, you know, anything. I mean, this car, like I said, you don't see crusty stuff on the battery. There's no band-aided wires. I mean, this is pristine.
You know, the car was genuinely cared for and well.
Without a doubt. So, you know, we're going to have to I want to be methodical about it. So what I'll do is I will, if it happens, if it does continue, I'll be talking to MSD and asking them how to diagnose this system to see. I remember once, just going back in the late 80s, I had an MSD5 in my car that had points in it, because you can still use it even with a points distributor.
Wow.
Multi-spark. And the unit was, for some reason, I don't remember why, not working. I don't remember the conditions, but I looked at it. I called MSD and I said, listen, I know there's test points on the board in this box. Can you supply me with the voltages needed at those points so I can test this? He goes, oh no, there's no serviceable parts in there. I said, well, serviceable is another question. I said, I want to diagnose it. He goes, well, you can't because it's sealed. I said, well, not anymore. It's not.
No, I was not with a little sawzall, little saw blade.
I unsealed it. So,
yes, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the internals now.
I am. Let's look at the phone, and I'll tell you more about it. Let's go to the phone and say hi, Cole. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Tim from Levittown. How are you guys?
Good, Tim. What's happening?
Hey, Tim.
All right. I'm outside today. I have a 63 Dart that, runs and drives. I put the tranny, I put a torque converter in a couple of years ago. And I drive this car, all the time. A couple of years go by, I got a puddle of tranny fluid.
Right.
And I had to give up my original torque converter because the ring gear was bad. So I had to give it in for whatever they get, deposit, whatever.
Right.
A core,
right.
And so I take it all apart. The bushing went. Wiped out the shaft on the torque converter.
Wow.
So I'm like, it's Land 6, one barrel air conditioned car, black and red. I drive it all the time. Great car.
Right.
What's up with this? I was able to find a, new old stock pump with, full rebuild sitting on a shelf.
Right.
So I'm just curious on what I need to look for. For some reason, that torque converter vibrated and took out that bushing. The plate, the plate, what do they call that?
The flex plate.
Flex plate's great. I looked at it, went over it. It's square, it's straight, it's everything like that.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is a matter of balance. And torque converters do get balanced like flywheels get balanced.
Right, there's weights on them.
And, well, a weight could have fallen off. I've seen that happen. Yeah.
And it goes right back to getting decent parts.
Yeah. Well,
right back to.
I there are places right here on Long Island that do rebuild torque converters. But yeah, I could easily say, hey, go to Summit and you buy one through there, but there's no guarantee. I mean, it's after.
Yeah, I'm busted broke working on things, and I had to pay, I got really cheap parts. These parts were really good, new old stock, and fair prices.
Okay. All right.
So I was really good. I got the training back in. I'm on my back in the driveway. 55-year-old guy that does this for a living. It's fun.
Nice.
It's fun and exciting still.
Oh boy, we're sharing in your joy. At least I am. Ray works on a lift now.
Here's another one for you guys. 2012 Malibu, headlights out.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I watched the video last night. I went through my phone across the room.
Yeah.
I'm pulling the bumper off to change the headlight.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Oh yeah.
A lot of vehicles are like that now, Tim. I mean, it's not uncommon. Yeah.
Oh Lord, I am like this sitting here, gritting my teeth, going.
And I'll tell you this: if you're not up to taking that bumper off, that's something that I'm really not. I really don't.
Right. It is what it is. I got to do it.
Auto shops. I mean, you could certainly tackle it yourself and try it. The foreign cars are a lot harder than the American cars. But I would say this: instead of going to a repair shop, like a general repair shop.
Yep.
Because you may find a guy in there who is good at taking the bumpers off and all, but not always. I would say go to a body shop. And I only say that because the shop that I do work for primarily is a body shop. I do mechanical, but I watch the body guys, and they know how to do this stuff in their sleep.
I have no quarrel doing it. It's just the point of that you have to do that to change a headlight.
Yeah, I know. Well, I blame the manufacturers for that. That was.
Oh yeah, and I got a great shop up the block for me. I use when if it's snow on the ground crazy, and I have some money laying around to pay the guy.
Yeah.
Because he does really good work. I've been using him for years. Good guys, good friends.
Good.
Right. Good. That's always great to have.
The art I got to finish putting together today. I flushed everything out, and it's. Let me ask you something. This car came with a inline filter on the coolant line.
Okay.
Can't find them anymore.
Interesting. It's interesting you say that because I just had to replace a power steering pump on my 65 Pontiac, and when I restored the car, I put a filter in line. It was a filter made by Wix. It was actually a power steering filter for a Honda. But it was a canister, looked like a gas filter, so I put it in my car because it's a 3/8 line. I would venture to say you could probably use something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steering fluid is very.
End up cutting the lines to put a rubber hoses in them.
Well, that's what you do need to do that because it is a canister style filter. But I was in a rubber line anyway. I was in the return line, so.
I was going to say cut it on the return.
I'm hesitant to do that because I found lines, but far and few between for a 63. It's like a crazy year.
Yeah.
But,
no, I agree. I wouldn't want to cut that. I wouldn't want to cut that either. I agree.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure it out, and so that's my deal today. And I appreciate the let me get on here and talk to you guys.
Thanks for calling. We always enjoy new callers. Don't be a stranger. Call back and shoot the breeze.
Absolutely will.
Yeah, Tim.
So I appreciate you. Happy holidays and be well.
All right, Tim. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
We haven't had a new caller in a while. That's excellent.
That's funny that he would get a vibration in a torque converter that would toss the bearing on that torque flight transmission. That's kind of weird. Yeah, but it does happen. Like I'm thinking, what is he doing?
Wait.
Neutral drops with it, but it's
No, wait.
straight 6-1 longer. I mean, it's not.
Hold on. Did he say he had a torque flight? Because he should have like a 904 in that car.
Maybe. Oh, it could have been a 904. He didn't say torque flight. I was just
for the bigger motors. But yeah,
right.
the
Could
first thing
be.
I think of obviously is balance. A balance issue.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of which, I just want to bring up real fast. Everybody's on the road now. I'm not doing a lot of work on my car, but I've come to realize I've been driving a lot this last couple of weeks, and I've come to realize everybody is not paying attention to what they're doing on the road. They're not. They're on their phones. They're preoccupied with something else. They're not watching the road. And I saved myself twice this week because I'm getting onto a parkway that was kind of thick. And I'm on the entrance ramp to get in, and I watch the front wheels of cars.
Right.
Because when you watch the front wheels of the cars on the road, they react before the car does.
Yes.
And that buys you that half a second to react in a defensive way before something stupid happens. And so far, I'm getting onto a parkway, and there's a line of cars that I have to merge into. And wouldn't you know, one jamoke decided to jump out into my lane to go one car down to merge back in.
Yeah.
And I watched his front wheel. And if I didn't watch his front wheel, we would not be having this conversation right now because I would have been crashed into him.
We learned that in motorcycle training. That was one of the key things when you're riding on in a motorcycle in the right lane on a road where there's cars at the curb. You got to scan really 2, maybe 3 things. One is the side view mirrors of cars, because if you can see someone's eyes in the side view, that means they're looking out, getting ready to pull out.
Right.
But not always. So the other thing you look at is that front left wheel, because if you see it move, you move.
You move. Right.
Right. You hit that one right on the head, Chris.
Yeah, and I've just been.
You're gonna go out, and you're gonna go out with a good record this year. Wow, you're actually gonna hit a couple out of the park. That's good.
I don't usually do that.
Clear your sodden name. Very good. Well, everybody's always saying, "How where's Chris get that information from? You make it up right out of a fairy tale book." Who does that? Well, Chris does that.
I make it up as I go along. How do you think I've gotten this far?
Believe me, they call you on it all the time. It's just not on the air. No, that's excellent information. You're right. I was just talking to my daughter about it. Suffolk County this week now killed their red light camera. It's out.
Oh,
it's done. They were taking the signs down. So now the question is
you're going to move to Suffolk?
No. Are the acts? Well, I'll tell you something. Last week we had to make a trip on Monday to.
I love when I touch a nerve.
Oh boy, this just one hurts.
Okay.
We had to go to College Point to look for some kitchen cabinetry for the apartment.
The Bronix.
Driving all day. And College Point it's like driving to Manhattan, but worse. Literally, but worse. And then coming home, the LIE was a nightmare. I said, you know what? I remember a shortcut.
College Point, you're up in Queens, the northern part of Queens. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, I'll get off. I'll take Main Street down to Union Turnpike. Yeah. 25-mile-an-hour speed limit all the way.
Wow.
I got home in the afternoon. I was fit to be tied. I was done. I got to go to Corona next Thursday. I'm still going to be done.
Oh, my God. It's gotten thick. The boroughs have gotten bad and gotten thick. I'm sorry to say. It's not the way it was, young man.
So the next day, after dealing with these speed cameras here in Queens, which are crazy, the next day, my wife and I get in the car, we go food shopping, a couple towns away, and I'm on Sunrise Highway, speed limit's 50, and I'm doing 48, 50. I felt like I was on a NASCAR track. I said, wow, I'm really moving.
Because you
back in Nassau County doing
50 miles an hour. I thought people were shooting by you.
No, not doing 24.
Yeah, I believe it.
What's your stuff?
I was in Brooklyn last week, just real fast, and hitting a traffic light on every single corner, and they were not in alignment with each other. So when one turned green, the next one was red. You had to slow to that, and then you get through that one, the next one turned red.
Tell everybody outside, waiting for me in the parking lot, what not to do, because we're out of here.
Don't follow us home. And just make sure you have your power steering lines correct, so you can't get that wheel wobbling.
Got that right. We'll be in next week with more Motor Mouth Radio. Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino with Carl Anthony. We'll see you then. 90.3 WHPC.
Looking forward to that. See you. Bye.